Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Podcast Room 303. Introducing one co-host with more nuggets than Chick-fil-A, Nick Morahan. Executive producer until we find someone better, Eric Washington. Nobody really knows what he does around here, Nevada Putnam. And now, the single greatest thing to happen to hosting in history, Jermaine Antonio Colon Mendez. On with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Podcast Room 303, episode 298. I'm your host, Jermaine Colon Mendez. This is my co-host. And as always, we have with us the EP is dead, R.I.P. and Nutty Putty. How you doing this evening, Nevada?
I'm good. Doing my best as a red-blooded American to have some barley sodas and watch USA and Canada hockey here in what is essentially the gold medal game for the Four Nations.
Yeah, fantastic. Why did you say essentially?
A
gold medal?
Yeah, I don't know if they have. I don't think they have gold medals. They have like this weird
trophy.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it looks like. Well, I know what it looks like. I'm just trying to think of another sport because it looks familiar. I don't know. If you pull up Four Nations trophy, you'll see it and you'll be like, yeah, I can kind of see how that looks like. I can't picture it in my head, but it looks similar to another trophy, national stage trophy, if I'm not mistaken. Or I guess international, not just national.
Okay. All right. Well, on today's episode, we're going to get into head-to-head review. We'll do a pop culture pick'em, top 5 shows that you want adapted to live action. And then we'll get into the All Star 2025 for NHL and NBA. Let's go ahead and get into that head-to-head here. And that is pop culture pick'em. So here we go. A lot of green. What are we doing, guys?
Yeah, it's kind of a you go to a Tex-Mex place or something like that, and they'd say you want the red or the green, and you can't decide because you're a little bit of a wimp. You say both. Just give me both.
Just
what this screen looks like. Yeah.
Everybody notched a win last week, which is awesome. Awesome stuff. So, I mean, we've already seen marketed improvement from last year's parlay debacle. So I submitted Texas minus 3.5. They covered by 4. They scored. They call that by a hair's breadth. I also had a USA money line versus Canada. That was an easy dub. Never a doubt. With the best defenders out, take the other team on the coin flip.
Yep.
And then I took Alabama live bet plus 5.5. They ended up losing by like 9 or 11. So not awesome. Nick took under 5.5 for USA Finland. Wasn't that like a 4-3, 5-3 game?
Yeah, I'll pull it up. I'm pretty sure it was. Here we go. Nope. Disregard. I will pull it up.
He also had Brad Keselowski to win the Daytona 500. That did not. It was actually the same winner from last year. He went back to back. I forget his name.
Yeah, not thrilled about that. More so in the manner he won. Not that he won, but in the manner that he won.
There was an accident on the final lap, wasn't there?
He went from 9th to 1st.
Yeah.
In a turn and a half. 2 turns at most. All right. He did the same thing last year too.
Hey man, better to be lucky than good, dude.
Especially in that race. But like you can drive 199 laps with no problem. And then all of a sudden you're out of the race because it gets a little dicey. Nah. The Finland US game was 6-1.
US covered it solo.
Keep the change.
Tottenham. He also had Tottenham money line, which secured him the dub. They thrashed Manchester United. Manchester United is just not a good ball club anymore. RIP. Still the squad. Sad to see though. You had Mikko Rantanen plus 3+ shots on goal.
Mm-hmm.
on the 13th. That was an L. That was against Sweden, correct?
Yeah,
or
he
that
had
was
0.
Yeah,
It is against Sweden. He had 0.
Wow. And
Or
then
no,
you
it was
had
against
the
I don't
U.S.
know, Canada.
It says Hockey USA here. USA Finland. So I'm
Oh
reading.
yeah, it was the first game. Yeah. Yep. Reading
You
smart.
had Jake Gunsel, anytime goal scorer at plus 295. That's a hell of a pool. Take a bow, young man. Take a bow.
Yeah, Jake Gunsel. He's just a goal scorer.
Oh, Canada scored. Fuck.
Yeah, Nathan McKinnon. Proud for him, but also fuck him. Fuck him tonight.
He's not even a top 5 player.
But yeah, Jake Gunsel or Ginsel, one of the best goal scorers in the league. Again, not necessarily a sniper per se, but he can score from pretty much anywhere, and he's kind of underrated, lethal. I mean, everybody that follows hockey knows that he can score, but I don't know. It just felt like that game against Canada. If there's going to be some goal scorers, you need your goal scorers to show up. So that's why I took Ginsel on that one.
He got traded, didn't he?
Yeah,
Was it last year?
Correct. Yeah, he went from Pittsburgh to Carolina.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
As a rental, and then told Carolina peace and sided with Tampa.
He's in Tampa. They replaced
Stamkos with Ginsel.
They replaced Stamkos with Gensel. That's a shrewd move.
I mean, can't blame Tampa on that one. You get a lot younger, and production doesn't really go down. Yeah.
And then ultimately you had Ford as the winning manufacturer. Considering there's only 3 manufacturers, how you dealt with these bets more often is
Well, I'll tell you how is because they wreck on the final turn and a half. Otherwise, Ford would have fucking won. That's how you do it.
I'll tell you how you picked them. That's why they wrecked on the final.
Well, that's probably very accurate.
Eric went 1 and 2. He had Philadelphia -3. That was an L. He had Bayern first half money line. That one hit versus Celtic, and then he had AC Milan money line versus Feyenoord, and AC Milan lost outright. So AC Milan got bounced from the tournament because they keep pulling Christian Pulisic at like the 60-minute mark to put in João Felix, the guy who's never developed into the star that they think he's supposed to be. Mind-blowing stuff.
I remember watching Felix in the help me out. Why am I blanking on it?
World
from
Cup?
last year. Yes, thank you.
Euro.
And yeah, he's one of those guys where it's like, this is our next up and coming phenom for Spain, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Spain or Portugal, one of those two.
It's Portuguese. Portugal.
Okay.
It was in the Euros last year.
Yeah. So, you kind of see him, and I don't know, when I saw him playing in the tournament, I was like, yeah, I think you can see definitely got the talent and stuff, but there's a reason Pulisic, as far as an American playing in the Premier League, I mean, that you got a lot of talent if you're coming over from America to play over there.
Yeah, so this was for the Champions League, which is all the best teams in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And Christian Pulisic is the best player on AC Milan. Last year, he had the second most goal assist contributions. This year, he has the most goal assist contributions for this team. And they refuse to play him at his natural position because they have this kid who, if he hits, has a higher ceiling than Christian Pulisic. Sure. Rafael Leao from Portugal.
Okay.
So they keep moving Christian Pulisic all over the place, and he keeps wrecking the other team for them. He has 12 goal assist contributions for them. And they pulled him for João Felix. They pulled their best player for João Felix. And I was like, and that's why you got bounced from, because it was tied when they pulled him and they got bounced from the tournament. I was just like, what are we doing? How many times does he have to prove he's really good before somebody just lets him play and it's not he's an American?
So, I had 2 questions on that, which I think you kind of touched on it. So my first one was, do they have this hesitation because he's American and it's kind of you haven't proven yourself? And secondly, I don't care who you are. When it comes to soccer, you don't play your best or pull your best player 60 minutes in.
You don't do that in the World Series either. Ask Kevin Cash.
You want to do it at I don't know, maybe the 75, 80 mark, so you clamp up on defense. Maybe. I don't know soccer that well, but I would imagine that's
Yeah,
at
so
least
you
more.
usually pull forwards for defenders if you're going
Sure.
to sit back if you have the lead, but they didn't have the
Right.
lead. They weren't guaranteed to advance yet. They hadn't won yet.
Yeah. Again, as a non-soccer person, I know some handful of names. I know Felix. I know Pulisic. Yeah, you what are you doing, man? What are you doing?
Here's the thing. At the time when he transferred from Atletico Madrid or to Atletico Madrid. No, from Atletico Madrid to like Barcelona, I believe. He was $130 million transfer. It was like the highest at the time. It was like a record-breaking transfer fee. He's never started more than 18 matches in a season since then.
Man.
Now he's actually owned by Chelsea. Like Chelsea owns his contract, and they sent him on loan to AC Milan because he's just not cutting it. And they still pulled Christian Pulisic for that guy. You make it make sense. Like all the narrative around this Felix kid is that he's inconsistent. He can't get it done. There's a reason why he wasn't in the starting lineup. And now you pulled Pulisic for him, and then you end up losing. Good riddance. I'm glad you guys lost.
Yeah, obviously it being American helps for me to follow Pulisic when it comes to soccer, but it just doesn't make sense. Again, it's your best player, and you rattled off the stats. What do you say? 12 primary assists, or
so they call it a like contribution. So goals or assists count as a contribution. He has 12. He leads the team.
Okay. Yeah, I if it's me, I don't care if it's. I mean, freaking fantasy football. I want the best player on the roster playing.
Dog, I want the guy who can get it done playing. You know what I mean? Like that's why Tom Thibodeau plays his starters 40 minutes a game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now his strategy is a little too crazy.
Right. There's a happy medium somewhere.
That's why everyone keeps getting hurt for Tom Thibodeau. But hey, man, you won the regular season, big fella. You won Coach of the Year. Congrats.
Yep.
And then so we'll recap the standings and then get into pop culture pick'em. So currently Eric and I are tied at 8 and 10. Tiebreaker goes to Eric. Eric has 7.74 units up on the season. I'm 7.55 units up on the season. The next you have Nick. Shocking development. Absolutely stunning piece of business by last year's winner. We'll get to him later. 7 and 11 for Nick at plus 3.27 units, and Nevada is 6 and 12 with plus 1.69 units. That Jake Gunsel getting positive.
Yep.
Actually, I'm sorry. Eric won last year, right?
Yes, he won.
Did you guys split?
Oh God, now I'm trying to remember.
And you got wins.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. I had wins, but not units. And just missed out on the units.
You almost swept. That's right. Yeah, you had wins, and nobody was positive because we're all trash. All right, I'm going to get pop culture ready for us. So today's topic is top 5 series you want to be live action. It is myself and then Nevada. Not that it really matters. Since we're consecutive. I'm going to go ahead and go first, obviously, and I'll take BioShock, the video game.
Solid pick right there.
Could you imagine how creepy that could get?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these that might pop up might be a little bit scary for real life. Well, the first one that came to mind for me, I love the series. I'd love to see a movie of it, but Batman Beyond, having a real life or live action whether it's series, movie, I don't care. I saw I don't know if you've seen it, the fan created one
I
as
have
a live
not.
action one. It's 8, 10, 12 minutes long, something like that. It's pretty good for being some chachi who just made it in his basement. It's pretty good
Austin,
quality.
Austin Matthews put in work, dude. The chachiest.
Yeah. Um, Next one, again, I love the comic. I love maybe not love, but I enjoy the series. Movie, I hopefully gets a reboot. But Spawn.
Oh, they are trying to get a new project spun off the ground.
Yeah, they've been trying since like '09 or something.
I think Todd McFarlane's actually made traction now, though. So let
Because
me.
it was with Jamie Foxx, and I don't think they had a director last I knew, but it's always been hey, we have, someone's bought the rights or we've got production, and then you don't hear anything for 2 years, and they're like, oh yeah, that was never going to happen. And now here it is again. Last I heard, they're like, yeah, things are happening, so we'll see. But it's definitely like a cult following, kind of like Batman Beyond, where there would definitely be people that would pay money to see. And who knows, maybe it'll come out now that with the success of Deadpool as far as an R-rated uh, anti-hero movie.
Yeah, so New York Comic Con 2024, Bloomhouse CEO unveiled their upcoming slate of movies. And the long gestating reboot of the dark Todd McFarlane superhero had previously been set for a 2025 release after years of setback. Oh, it's delayed again.
There it is.
Fucking bummer.
Um, yeah, and I from what I've read from different threads and stuff, it sounds like the hangup is with McFarland. Um, really trying to wanting to have too much control over it. Um, which I can understand. It's your baby, but at the same token, like maybe let the pros that are in the movies like really guide your hand. Like they're not going to just cut you out,
I
but
mean, how many times have we seen the quote unquote pros absolutely bungle it?
I get that, but I think again going back to the Deadpool stuff, I think they would the, like they would have McFarlane have a heavy hand in it. I think he wants to be the coach and the GM, and I think they're kind of being like, how
He's
about you
got
coach and we'll GM?
he's got big Bill Belichick energy.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
No, that's a great choice. Next, I'm going to go with the Magic School Bus.
God damn it! Oh, I was literally gonna pick that one next.
Let's go, dude. First of all, if you didn't mess with the Magic School Bus as a kid, then I don't know what to tell you. Shout out my girl, Miss Fritz.
Yep. Oh man, do you know how badass that would be? Like learning about the human body going through this magic school bus.
It would be so sick. You remember those Osmosis Jones movies?
Oh yeah.
Those were fire. You could do something like that where you still do animation and then you do live action. You just have some nasty dude on the couch or whatever. But I think the Magic School Bus would be sick as a live action. They got to go get one of those Ghostbusters directors. I bet you the new Ghostbusters directors could do a good job. And then next I'll do. I mean, you're not gonna take these other ones, so I'll do Kim Possible.
All right.
I was a big fan of Kim Possible growing up, and like
Yeah.
get my boy Ron Stoppable live action. Let's go, bro, with the naked mole rat.
Yeah. That was the first thing that popped in my mind was the naked mole rat.
Rufus, bro. That character loves cheese, dude.
I mean, who doesn't?
Probably lactose intolerant people.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's still some people that will fall on that sword and risk it regardless.
Yeah,
Um,
my boy does that. It's
yeah.
disgusting.
I think I'm gonna save this other one for honorable mention just because it's a little crowded. So I think my next one is gonna be Samurai Jack.
Damn, that was on my list.
Um,
I didn't think you knew about the Jack. You know what I mean, dog?
oh, Are you kidding? Love that show.
So good. And it really does lend itself like to an awesome, like I would do it like Sin City.
Okay, I was gonna say like kind of like a Scott Pilgrim-ish, where you can still have some of that.
Oh, that's
Um,
actually a good idea too.
where the background is like all those. I don't know how to explain it, but just kind of a weird background where it's like he's flying through the air, but there's really no flying through the air sort of
Yeah.
scenes. I think that'd be pretty tight. Um, all right, and then next one. This one I'll go back to a video game. Myself and my one of my best buddies, Brian, we played this all the time growing up. It's actually coming out as a series on Netflix, but it's still a cartoon. Splinter Cell.
They're making a cartoon?
It comes out. It's here in the. I don't know if it's March. I know it's in the first half of the year. It's coming out Netflix exclusive, but it's a maybe not cartoon, anime, however you want. It's cartoon. It's not live action. How about
It's
that?
animated. It's animated.
Yes.
Whatever.
Um,
However, whatever style of animation that floats your boat. Like, let's not get because some
right.
people get crazy about that. I was like, oh, all right, dude. It's animes are cartoons. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, we always thought, even just playing the game, like, oh man, this would be like such a sick movie. But especially now with series, like that'd be such a cool series. But hey, with anime, you have a lot more freedom as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's one of the like you can still stay true to stuff. It's like there's the budget is the imagination. You know what I mean? Because you're
Hmm.
really just like whatever you're doing on a computer. Where now when you're doing practical effects, it changes everything.
Right.
No, that's a great choice. That actually like that sounds. I was like, if you would have told me Splinter Cell was a Amazon Prime series, like it was coming out on Amazon Prime, I'd have been like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Netflix
Like
trying to get in the Prime game.
that Jack Reacher shenanigans.
Yep.
Um, I was gonna pick that one. I just don't think it'll work. It's too crazy. I'll put that in honorable mentions. I'm going Metroid.
Metroid. Why does that sound familiar?
That's a Samus from
Yes.
Super Smash Bros.
Yep.
Yeah.
I never got into that story, so I wouldn't have anything to go off of. I know the character Samus. I played her all the time, and I
It's
did
just
Super Smash, but there was something else. I can't remember.
something other than Super Smash.
Yeah, back growing up, I can't remember what it was. God, was it on GameCube? I mean, it could have been Super Smash on GameCube
There
back in
was
the
a
day.
Super Smash Bros. On GameCube. Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. I just don't remember it as Super Smash.
Was it? It was like a
Um,
fighting game, though, right?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, it was Super Smash Bros. Melee.
yeah, it was. Yeah, because it had more of a, or it seemed to have a little bit more of a 3D playing field than like what you have Smash Bros now, where it's pretty much just 2D.
Yeah, side scroll. Yeah. They added depth to it. Yeah, that was probably peak Smash Bros. Although everyone loves the first one, it's OG kill 'em, but
Right.
that Super Smash Bros. Melee when they added the characters, everything like the controls got so polished. Like they did
Hmm.
a good job with that one.
Yep.
Um, and then last but not least, dude, I'm going with. I was gonna go with the comic book, but I'm gonna go with another video game. I'm going with God of War.
Oh, that's a solid choice right there. Um, what was I think I just saw it. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? There's a new iteration of God of War. Um, was it Roman gods that they're going to do next?
No,
Or
he's going to Egypt.
oh, Egypt. That's what it was. Yeah, I mean, exploring mythology like that, I'm such a sucker for that. I would just nerd out on that in middle school and early high school. It was just a cool little world all on its own.
Yeah, I mean it'd be or maybe it's not Egypt, maybe it's Greek. Maybe it's
I think
Greek.
you're right. I think Egypt sounds right.
I know they're setting it up, and I'm trying to remember. Let me see if I can't.
Yeah, I've looked that up. See, if, I think Egypt does sound
Because it was Greek originally, right? And then it was Norse. Yeah, so it's Egypt. It has to be Egypt. They already did the two other big ones. You know what I
right.
mean? Yeah, because he's gonna fight like Anubis, and yeah, it's Egypt. It's Egypt.
Yeah,
Final answer.
because Roman mythology is basically Greek with just different names. They're all very similar for the most part between the two of them.
Yeah,
But again, I'm a sucker for Greek mythology, Roman mythology. Doesn't matter. It's just cool shit.
mythology's dope.
Yeah.
Mythology, the way I like to describe mythology to people is it was the original comic books.
Yeah.
Mythology
Yeah.
is just the original comic books, is what it is. Because
Right.
like, you know, and then literature dorks like to be like, oh, you read comic books? I was like, so do you. The fuck?
No doubt. Some of the best stories are in the comics. Um, my last pick, it's a little bit of a cheap one, so if you want me to switch another one, I will. Um, but it's a true story, nonfiction book, Alone at Dawn. I don't know if you've read that one.
No, I mean,
It's it's uh it's about the um I'm gonna screw up the mountain name in Afghanistan. T- Takar. Oh, why am I forgetting it? But Chapman, he was a air controller,
okay.
and it was Delta SEALs, some local people that were in on it as well. They were trying to. God, this was. I don't remember the year. It was very early on, 04, 05 ish. I want to say, but just a great story from. As far as the book, it just covers like all different angles, but I think that would play out really well as a an Amazon series or something like that, like an 8-part episode where it just kind of bounces from perspective to perspective. Um,
of
just
the whole of the
awesome.
whole team that's in that stranded scenario.
Yeah, because they basically had three points of attack, north, south, and then the east side. Um, the west side was pretty much just pure mountain. So they called it the hammer and anvil was basically their plan of attack. But just exploring the different roles, what people saw, everybody ran into different issues and how they were like, well, fuck that. We still got to, you know, complete this part of the mission to have the other part succeed. So we just got to freaking figure it out. It's just a cool story. But I think to bring that to like I said, an 8-part series, I think it would just be so cool to see. Great book. If you haven't read it, highly recommend it. Um, again, about combat controller Chapman from the Air Force. There's a couple combat controllers that were embedded on the team, and he was one of them. But awesome story.
Takur Gar.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay.
So they had. I think it kind of started with some CIA intelligence that were embedded with them, and like I said, they're working with the Afghan. At that point, I don't think I would consider them special forces, but some Afghan elements to help supplement them here and there. Um, yeah, Roberts Ridge. If you're familiar with that term, that's where Roberts Ridge comes into play. Um, just a cool story. Spoiler: not the greatest ending, but nonetheless,
Nah,
great story. Yeah,
nah.
they don't bring the happy military stories to print.
Don't you want to sign up for this? You got any honorable mentions?
I do see. I had so the one I was gonna pick, but again, I think it was just gonna be too busy. Justice League Unlimited.
bro, with all those characters,
Yeah,
we can't even get just a good Justice League with just the original
I
members.
know. Like DC's in shambles. Like every time I think about it, I'm like, how many times do you have to restart and reboot Batman and Superman?
They are doing it in the comics right now. Again, they're on like iteration 15 of reboots. It's wild, dude. Marvel's no better though. I'm not gonna let Marvel off the hook there. But DC, it feels like since like 2010, DC has rebooted their universe like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, Marvel. I mean, you could go down like the main characters, especially like I suppose you can consider Spider-Man part of Marvel now officially, but like the Hulk, that was rebooted what 4 different times or something like that. But I'll give Marvel credit for at some point they were just like, fuck it. Here's what we got. We're moving forward with it. We
Yeah,
can. We're
we
not gonna
don't
like
have the Hulk. We can't make a Hulk movie.
right. Our first origin movie for the Hulk doesn't have to be a home run. All right, it just has to be an origin story. We can improve on it later. But let's just move forward. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck like DC, where we can't even get the fucking Justice League together.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
We just got to introduce them, guys. Let us work.
Like that is one of the biggest selling points for DC is like the Justice League. Yeah, you got Batman, Superman, great, but sometimes those stories will start to get old. You bring people together, you got all these other stories you can start to develop.
Dog, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. Like
Yeah.
you have arguably 3 of the most gigantic comic book superheroes in the world.
Right.
Yeah, at the time, right? When Marvel was going big. Now Marvel has since closed the gap with a lot of their characters, but it was Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. They were the biggest. And then
Right.
Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Spider-Man was like the one Marvel, like, and those were the ones. You know what I mean? Like, and somehow you put them on screen together and failed. Like, come on, guys, we can't be doing that.
Yeah, I think they're scared. They're scared of failure, and I think they want to try to whatever movie they put together. They want it to be a home run, grand slam. It's like, guys, just give us some doubles, all right?
Just make a good film.
Right.
It doesn't have to be the greatest superhero film.
No.
Like, look, superheroes is what I've said it from the very beginning. Just enjoy it while it lasts because it's going to be like country movies. I mean, not country movies, Western movies.
Yep.
Western movies were the hotness for like 20, 30 years.
Yep.
And guess what is not the hotness no more?
Right.
Westerns. Like, it's going to be the same thing with Marvel and DC and all these comic book movies. They're going to oversaturate. That's a problem. You're going to oversaturate. You're going to make ones that don't hit. And people are going to be upset. So it's just like, just make a good. You have the story already. You have.
Right.
That's what cracks me up. It's like you don't have to write a new story. You have the good stories.
USA.
Oh, they have.
Sorry.
Tight.
Live score update for all those listening after the fact, but God, freaking Kachuk brothers are just on fire.
Bro, the stat they showed about Kachuk, only player in NHL to have 20 plus goals and 170 hits. I was like, let's go.
Yep.
I've been calling them the Bash Brothers, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you hear what their dad said after the Canada game?
No, what did he say?
I don't know if it was for a newspaper or radio or something like that, but they asked him about their fight, which we'll get into later, and he's like, I don't know what to say. They're lunatics.
You're the dad.
Yeah, you sired those 2 gentlemen.
That is your progeny, dog.
Yeah.
So my honorable mentions, I'm going Danny Phantom.
Ooh.
Something is Killing the Children. It's a comic book that's going on right now.
Okay.
And dude, the premise is really sick. You should look it up. And the artwork is banging. It's only a matter of time before it gets adapted because Hollywood has no ideas and they keep coming and snatching up comic book properties. So it's only a matter of time.
Sure.
And then the one I was going to put, and then I took God of War instead, was Mass Effect.
Mm.
And that's the one where I was just like, I just don't know if we could do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't have faith, dude. That would have to be like a series with a Game of Thrones budget.
Yeah, the other one I considered, but I didn't have high hopes on was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I feel like that one might be a little bit too much of a stretch for live action. Um, we saw how it kind of ended with the movies. It was all right, but
The Michael Bay ones was just Transformers with Ninja Turtle skins. That's exactly what those movies were. So if you don't
Yep.
like Transformers, you won't like Ninja Turtles. If you
Yep.
like Transformers, you'll like Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
The live action 90s ones were phenomenal, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They did a great job. And I was like, considering how limited we were in like technology, how we've gotten worse, it doesn't make sense. But their practical effects, everything, the one-liners, like it was a very spirit of Ninja Turtles type of film. It was awesome.
I love like every, I don't know, 6 months or something, that photo pops up of this freeze frame of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle who's got like, you can see the actor in the turtle's mouth. So, but yeah, same thing with the Mario Brothers in the nine. Well, that's when it hit
With
TV.
John Leguizamo,
Uh-huh.
dude, I love that movie. It's not good, but I loved it.
Right. You look back on it and watch it again, you're like, man, this is bad. But in the moment, it's like, this is awesome.
I still love it, but it's bad. I can tell.
Yeah.
I promise you, it's not good. It's like the Mortal Kombat movies. Love them, not good. Just not good. Not good. When they do the claymation fighting at the end. Oh,
Yeah.
so bad. So bad.
Budget ran out. We gotta wrap this up. All right, boys.
We blew the budget on our claymation fight. So I went first. I had BioShock, The Magic School Bus, Kim Possible, Metroid, and God of War. Nevada went second. Not that, I mean, there's no real order. Batman Beyond, Spawn, Samurai Jack, Splinter Cell, Alone at Dawn.
I think those, honestly, I don't see a bad one in there. I'd watch all those.
No, that was a fire list, dude. The honorable mentions we had another list of heat, dude.
Oh, I know. I mean, really, you can keep going on and on. I stopped once I got 8. I was like, all right, I can work with these 8.
There's no way Jermaine takes 5 of these.
Right.
Could you imagine, though?
Well, I know when you said Magic School Bus, I was like, motherfuck. Yeah. That was a kick in the groin right there.
All right. So today's that's awesome. I had no clue you're gonna pick Magic School. Like that's the one we fought over of all the choices. The Magic School Bus. That's the clear answer as the one that needs to get remade.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. That's all you need to hear.
That's it. Dude, the odds of 2 people picking it, like, come on, with all the options. But
yeah.
So today's main topic is just the state of All Star in America. And we'll cover, obviously, the Four Nations face-off, which is the championship games happening right now. If you hadn't noticed by Nevada and I just stopping mid PCP to discuss some goal scoring and you know, absolute negligence from the father of the Kachuk brothers. But basically, it's just All-Star games need to go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Pro Bowl, like it doesn't work no more. The NBA All-Star, look, no disrespect. Everyone loves to paint me as a LeBron hater. LeBron killed it. This game was never like this when LeBron was the leader of the NBA, when Kobe was the leader of the NBA. And now LeBron is the leader of the NBA and a damn good leader. I'm not knocking him. He's done a lot of great things. But he didn't participate in the dunk contest, so he belittled it. He was too good for the dunk contest.
Yep.
Then now him and the Spurs have done load management, and they've taken load management well into the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
To where these men, grown men, don't have enough pride to go perform for their fans. Like, that's what they're telling us. At the end of the day, like, your contract is paid by us, the fans. If we stop watching and we stop showing up to the arenas, you're not getting paid. You're not getting paid the near $50 million a year you're getting paid now.
Right.
Which is not what they were getting back in the 90s when they were going to battle in the All-Star game. It was a point of pride. It was my conference versus your conference. It was, I'm better than you. I'm not going to lose to you. And now there's no pride. And PK Subban said it best, but I'll let you talk on it.
Yeah, I was going to mention him. We can bring him up when we talk about the NHL stuff, but yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. All-Star games, I suppose maybe the one that sticks around is baseball, just because there actually is something on the line.
What's
I
on
don't
the
know if
line?
it's
What's on the line in baseball?
home field for World Series.
They don't do that no more.
When did they stop that?
That's been gone for like 8 years, I think. Let me look it up. Keep going.
Oh, maybe I just always assumed it was still on, just so I'd watch it. But yeah, I mean, shit. You look at football. We've probably seen the highlights of. Oh man, I'm gonna forget the defender, but he blew up. Wasn't it Morstead?
The
They ran
punter?
they ran like a fake punt, and he got blown up before he got to the sideline from a safety. I know you've seen the clip. I might have Morstead wrong because he was probably wasn't in the league, but I could have sworn it was the Saints punter.
Thomas, that's what I'm saying. Thomas Morstead was our punter. He was
Right.
the rookie punter who who did the ambush play against the Colts in the Super Bowl.
Right. So I might have that wrong, but I've for some reason he popped in my head. But I guarantee if you pulled up, Pro Bowl punter blown up, like he straight up takes one straight to the chest, gets laid out 4 feet in the air, drops to the ground, gets back up. Like you don't even see hits like that in the NFL now, period.
Oh, it was Sean Taylor, dude. Sean Taylor hit Brian Moorman.
Mormon. Okay, there's the more. But yeah, All-Star games, football, don't care. Baseball, I thought I cared, but I guess if they're not doing it for the World Series, then screw it. But yeah, the basketball, um, I would say they were the ones who at least brought the skills competition. Obviously, the slam dunk contest was huge in the 90s. But since then, like it doesn't care. Like even hockey outside of the Four Nations this year, nobody cared about the All-Star game.
There was
Like the skills competition, maybe kind of watch it here and there. As far as hockey goes, yeah, who's got the hardest slap shot? That's interesting because you're like, holy shit, 105 coming at you from 30 feet away. Yeah, fuck that.
I ain't stopping that. You get the goal, sir.
Yeah, but yeah, All-Star games, I agree. They're dead, and leagues, with the exception of the NHL this year, have yet to realize that they are dead, and they just keep trying to make them a thing. It's like the Mean Girls. Stop trying to make fetch a word. That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Stop trying to make All-Star games a thing. It's done.
This generation just does not care about it. And that's okay. Like nobody has to care about the All-Star game. But like
Right.
they don't care about it. You know what I mean? They don't care that fans are paying millions of dollars to go see them. Like they don't care. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care when they're playing at home in the regular season. I mean, look at some of these players playing 50 games in an 82-game season. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they don't have the same pride for themselves, and then they don't have the same respect for the customer. That pays their wages. They just don't, because they're coddled at every turn. NBA players don't even practice anymore.
Yeah.
Like, because they've complained so much, and that's why everyone's always hurt, because you're not conditioned to take the beating that basketball is. Basketball it's rough on the body, cutting, jumping, exploding, shooting, playing both ends. You know what I mean? Like you have to move laterally on defense. You have to be able to take curl screens on offense. Like you have to do a lot as a basketball player. And that's why, like, it's not as impressive when you see these scores. Oh, it's 150, 149. It's like Paul Pierce said this. Paul Pierce was like, it's not the same, though. It's not end-to-end basketball. You're not running from baseline to baseline. You're barely running from three-point line to three-point line. And you're jacking up one of 60, 70 three-pointers, and then you're just getting back to the three-point line.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same level of effort. Like, so from a shape perspective, like, yeah, NBA players now are more athletic, more explosive, but from being in shape, like a basketball shape perspective, they aren't even close to what these players used to do. It's an oddity now if you play 82 games.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've hit it on the head, kind of echoing some of the stuff that PK Subban talked about. For those of you who don't know, PK Subban played, I don't know exactly, but 12-ish years in the NHL, something like that. Decent defenseman, more kind of an offensive guy. But he went on First Take. God, what was that, Tuesday or something like that? Regardless, he basically kind of hit on these points that we're talking about as far as the All Star game. I think the most pertinent that Jermaine has touched on, that he touched on, was PK said, if you're really about sports, then you're about two things: your teammates and the fans. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter how much money you're making. When you do not show up to play, you're letting your teammates down. When you do not show up to play, you're letting the fans down.
Period.
Simple as that.
That's it. Like, we're there to see you, like, specifically.
Right.
Like, that's so crazy to me, man. He played 13 seasons.
13, okay. Yeah, he had a lot of good points in his, I don't know, 90 seconds of what he was talking about. I
Could
mean,
have
he
been
talked,
longer, but the clip that
yeah,
I saw.
it was, hey, players got to play with pride. And he specifically was talking AHL and NBA because they were happening at the same time. But play with pride. You look at NBA, Jermaine has said it, there's essentially no pride. There's no pride for your teammates, for the game, probably even for yourself. Certainly not for the fans. Otherwise, you'd be actively trying to make this thing something worthwhile.
It's embarrassing, man.
He points to the Four Nations. I mean, everybody by now has probably seen the highlights of the first 9 seconds of the first game between the U.S. and Canada. Nothing but just raw pride and emotion. 9 seconds.
It wasn't like that in previous All Star games, though. I will tell you that.
Right. Exactly. And that's what's different. That's what the NHL has discovered, and realized, and more likely shown the other leagues. Like, granted, NHL's at a advantage where they have all the nations to pull from, where they can have something like this,
Yeah, of course.
but they're taking advantage of what they have.
Because
I don't.
they could get Czech Republic and Russia in this bad boy if they weren't.
So they realistically they could get Russia in there right now, because Russia is only banned from international games that are sponsored by IIHF, which includes the Olympics. This Four Nations has nothing to do with IIHF or the Olympics. This is an NHL promotion.
Okay. Okay.
This is NHL players, NHL refs, NHL arenas, NHL rules. Everything is NHL. This is their All Star break this year. It has nothing to do with the international bodies that govern international hockey. So, if they wanted to expand this to, let's do Czechia, Russia. You could probably do like Norway and Germany if you wanted to make it 8 teams,
Yeah, if you want
or
to.
or you could do 6. I don't know, however you want to break it down. You have plenty of options to expand it. because they're doing that for the Olympics next year. It'll be 8 teams. But yeah, the NHL has shown in these 4 nations, and they've basically committed to it, that essentially every other year, up and through, I want to say it was 2032 was the year, they're going to alternate between something like the 4 nations and the Olympics every other year, because it brings best on best together. And as you've seen, particularly when it comes to hockey players, when they play for their country, whether it's under 18, Olympics, this 4 nations, they care a hell of a lot more than an all-star game. And probably some of them, especially on teams that are kind of in the dumps, this is their Stanley Cup playoffs. This is the Stanley Cup. And they take it to heart. They go nuts to play for their country. Every single player that plays for the country that you talk to or that gets interviewed, they talk about how much they love playing for the country on this stage.
That's why I don't respect you just don't boo national anthems, man. Like you just don't do it. Like,
Yeah.
Look, we go to the Olympics every year. We don't fuck with Russia. We don't fuck with China, right? Like those are political adversaries. Guess what we don't do when the anthem is playing at the Olympics?
Yeah.
We don't boo those anthems. I got super annoyed with Canada booing our national anthem for a comment they made. I was like, dude, most of you guys don't like Justin Trudeau's politics.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying you want to be an American state or whatever, but
Right.
come on now. Let's not act like he wasn't saying what most of y'all was thinking with Justin Trudeau.
Right. And somebody said it was on another podcast. The booing of the national anthem. The person was Canadian. He was saying, it's not. They're not doing it as a "we hate America, we hate Americans." It's purely just their way of booing Trump's decisions on tariffs or comments about Canada. That's what it is. If you agree with it, great. If you don't, great, whatever. But that's what their intent is behind it. It's not something where it's all of a sudden, holy shit, America is our enemy. We hate them. We're going to boo them. But like Jermaine said, you don't like a country or their politics or stuff like that. That's you don't boo the anthem.
You just don't do it. It's not something you do.
No, yeah. I'm not gonna. Don't want to stick on this very long, but yeah, I've never. You go to hockey games, which are going to be the most common, where you hear 2 anthems. If they have the Canadian anthem, okay, you listen to it. If you know the words and you want to sing along, go for it. I don't care, but you just don't. You don't boo.
Soccer fans are the most passionate fans in the world. Downright the epitome of fanatical. They're just crazy people.
Mm-hmm.
Even they don't boo the national anthems.
Right.
Like, what are we doing, guys? We missed the mark on that one. Like, why is USA versus Canada hockey the stage for you to be upset with Donald Trump's comments? It's just words, by the way. They're just words. Like,
yeah.
Oh, what's crazy is like Americans were pissed off that Colin Kaepernick did it to our own national anthem. You think we're not going to be pissed that you're doing it to our national anthem?
Uh-huh.
Like, come on, guys. Like, how bad that looks. It's just a bad look.
Yeah. And obviously that, the fans in Montreal booing our national anthem, it didn't cause the fights, but it added a little bit extra to it for sure.
It added the second and third one. That's what I think happened. I think one was going down for sure, and I think once those boos happened, they were like, "All right, bet." The rest of them were like, "All right, we'll scrap."
So yeah, there's if you the Kachuk said that they had a text thread between them and JT Miller. I don't know if other players were in on it as well, but the Kachuk said this was before they even showed up to the arena. I'm dropping mitts at puck drop. It's happening. And part of that was in large part because it had been 9 years since there had been any international play between the U.S. and Canada, aside from like under 18.
That's too long.
So you've got the best players in the world that have not played against each other in 9 years in a sport where each of them say, Canada basically says, this is our sport. We're the best at it. And the U.S. is like, well, fuck you. We've come a long ways.
Oh, speaking of, I wanted to ask you, what is the name of the American Hockey Academy? Is that what it is? AHA?
The U.S. National Development Program, USNDP, where basically the pipeline for U.S. players. I think that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, this right here is vindication for everything they've done because they've been plugging away since when did this start? Let me find out the year that started. But keep going.
Yeah, the National Development Program probably started in. Well, it's been around for a while, a long time.
Oh wow, yeah. It looks,
but as far as
like
it actually,
1999.
Yeah, as far as it actually starting to like produce top tier quality talent that you've been seeing the last, I don't know, call it 7 years. That's really where they've been taking off and getting players to that level that Canada is at. And now Canada's, yeah, they're in one with the U.S. I mean, right now it's tied 1-1. Shots are even 11-10. Like, this is no longer a Canadian sport as far as the Americas are concerned. This is very much a north side of the border and south side of the border. Yeah, it's great to see because obviously, I mean, any sport that the Americans get and they get involved in and they start popularizing it and all that good stuff, they start to get the itch and like, actually, you know what, we want to be the best at it.
Oh, dude,
they'll get there.
There's nothing Americans pride themselves more on than being the best at sport. There is not. Like, we take that way too seriously.
Especially if it's another country's sport.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, we could do that shit.
Like, just wait until cricket gets popular and they're going to be like, well, hang on a sec.
So how do you play this? What are the rules?
We could open up to 5 billion people on TV. Hell yeah, we'll funnel money into this.
Wait till we start taking rugby seriously. We got a lot of failed NFL players we can throw at that too.
So like I don't know if it's the headquarters, but like one of the I don't know what to say, like original spots or something like that for USA Rugby is here in Denver. It's like a city that's, I don't know how big Glendale is, like 12 square blocks or something. It's its own city. And they have a rugby stadium in the city. It's not big by any means, but it is. It's
the heart of the city, though.
It's the only thing really that's in Glendale. That and Shotgun Willie's strip club. Shout out Shotgun Willie's. But yeah, rugby's big. Maybe not big here, but it's kind of like the unofficial headquarters for U.S. Rugby.
That's tight. I didn't know that. So 2014-15 was the NTDP. That's when they started. So this is a 10-year culmination. So basically, since that program started, these two teams haven't played. And you're seeing the dividends that this program has. And we've got a lot of young cats that aren't on this squad that are going to be coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, well, I like pretty much all the U.S. team right now is probably 7 years into their pro career-ish. 7 to 9 tops.
Yeah, because this is this American boon is very recent.
Yeah, they've, like I said, the development program has made the top tier Americans, if not on level with the Canadian top tier guys, like maybe a step behind them, but it's neck and neck. But yeah, this Four Nations has been great. It's been all the buzz. It helps when basically there's nothing else going on in the sports world, and you can put on a
NBA being off as well really helped them.
Yep. There was some um, probably won't know until tomorrow, but there was some scuttlebutt as far as like, how is essentially this gold medal match going to fare against the NBA coming back? I would
Look,
guess based
I
on me, I don't see how they don't beat the NBA tonight, but to be
basically
determined.
my whole friend group that doesn't watch hockey, right? There's like one or two that watches hockey. They're all watching this game right now because it's USA. It's USA. Like nobody watches soccer in America. Like no
Mhm.
disrespect. I'm fairly confident. Like there's a slim majority that does not watch soccer, but every time the Gold Cup comes around, and in a lesser extent, obviously, and then the World Cup, when those come
Mhm.
around, I've been all over America during World Cups. I've been in Virginia. I've been in Seattle. I've been in Texas. I've been in Florida. I've been in Boston. Everyone is incredibly like hyped up. Everyone's got USA gear that looks like it's only been worn like once or twice because they only
Yep.
wear it during the World Cup. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
I'm just like, yo, and I love it, dude. I love it. I'm like, dude, more power to it. I don't root for USA. Soccer's amazing. World Cup's fire. Like I'm all for it. I love it. There's just something about international sports, which brings me to my next question. Should we just kill all these leagues and do international sports year round?
No. I,
I know.
yeah. Um, it'll be interesting to see. I wouldn't say I'm worried about doing the every other year. I don't think it's often enough where you're going to lose the luster of that competitive best on best. Um, but that is something you got to be wary of because part of the great thing about the Olympics is it is only 4 years. Once every 4 years, you get a chance.
Yeah.
So, depending on the sport, you might have two, maybe three Olympics at a shot. Um,
And then if you're hurt, like during that time,
mhm.
tragic.
So, but I think, yeah, again, if it was every year, that'd probably be too much. I think a lot of the players too would start to get tired of it, where it's like, all right, like every year we do this, I'm going to take this year off, or I'm going to take the next 2 years off. So, because I'm not invested into it as much either. Because right now,
It's fresh.
this this Four Nations is the players in it. This would be their All Star break, where they'd basically be taking it easy. Instead,
Yeah.
they're out here fighting each other, throwing people through the boards. Um, we had one dude,
USA has
Mac,
been lighting up Canada.
yeah, McAvoy, one of the defensemen for the Americans. He ended up having sounds like a significant AC joint sprain and an infection in his shoulder.
Oh, what? How did he get it infected?
I don't know how you get an infection. Um, Another dude broke his wrist in the first game.
Worth it.
It was for the Vegas Knights, so not a big loss.
You fucking hater.
Both the Kachuk boys went out of two separate games with injuries. Obviously, they're playing right now, but like these dudes are going all out. It goes back to PK Subban and what Jermaine said. They are without a doubt playing with pride. This absolutely means something to them.
Scrap, 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 scrap,
And
scrap.
and as you've mentioned, people who don't watch it are watching, and
Eyeballs. They got eyeballs.
that's huge for hockey. And that Canada US boxing match that happened to be a hockey game, that I guarantee you that has ignited and confirmed international play and interest in hockey for the next 10 years,
Oh yeah,
without question.
absolutely, absolutely. It just takes little moments like this for international sports especially in America, because if you televise it and then you plaster it all over the internet, unassuming Americans are going to tune into it. They're like, yeah, we'll check this out. You know what I mean? And right now they're getting treated to a hell of a game.
Yeah.
And so I think it's pretty outstanding. To answer your previous question, 2017 was when Major League Baseball stopped doing the All-Star game. Home field advantage to the All-Star winner.
I guess I never paid attention on when they stopped it because my team was never really involved with it. I just assumed it was still going. So
you like baseball, you don't watch it because the Rockies are trash.
I would love nothing more for my team to be even just semi-competitive.
I'm over here bitching we're not spending money on free agency. The Nevada's like, we haven't spent money in ages.
We've spent $11 whole this offseason. So
we spent money to trade our guy.
Yeah, that's the money that the Rockies are spending. They're spending money to trade people away. That's a successful business model if I've ever seen one.
Rockies fans keep showing up, dude. It's exactly what you and Nick talk about. It's crazy. Same thing with the Cubs, man.
I know.
Cubs fans won't lose their lessons. We sat through 100 years of losing. We're Gucci right now. We're still riding high from 2016.
I was gonna say you at least you guys have let alone a World Series, but one in recent memory where you can fall back on.
Yeah, I'm good until 2050, easy.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Let's wrap it up with the All-Star draft that
yes.
Eric and I had, and then we'll get out of the tens and tens hair. So, a couple episodes ago, I believe it was 2 or 3 now, we drafted the NBA All-Stars similar to how Kenny, Shaq, and Chuck did, and then we gave Nick the Rising All-Stars because Nick he's still we killed him off the show. We haven't written him back in. Our writers are being real stingy. They're having contract negotiations. But so I had Nikola Jokic, Steph Curry, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Donovan Mitchell, Karl-Anthony Towns, Alperen Sengun, Damian Lillard, and Tyler Hero. Eric had Kevin Durant, Victor Wembanyama, Trae Young, Evan Mobley, Jaylen Brown, James Harden, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Pascal Siakam. And Nevada had Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, Jason Tatum, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Williams, and Darius Garland. We won't get into Knicks because his team wasn't even close. But basically the way we scored it is kind of a fantasy semblance. You got 1 point for each point, rebound, and assist that your player got. So I had Jokic with 14, Steph with 32, Shea with 20. I'm not going to read all that. I had 128 points.
It's pretty solid for an All-Star weekend.
That's pretty good. So my team came in, they chipped in. I had a heavy hitter since I had the MVP. And so then we had Eric come in second with 101 points. And we had Nevada saddled by injuries. Just here so he doesn't get fined. Go ahead.
Yeah. I wouldn't say injuries. I would say pride. LeBron, DNP, Ant. I don't know if Ant was actually injured or if he was just another I'm here so I don't get fined participant.
So he had Anthony Edwards, LeBron. Both of them did not play. Nevada had 51 points from Kyrie Irving and Jason Tatum because he also had Anthony Davis. But Kyrie Irving replaced him. He had 51 points and finished with 75 total.
Not bad for 2 players,
Dude, that's what cracks me. I was like, you had 51 from 2, and the rest of your team
probably would have won this damn thing if I just had a couple players put some minutes in.
Just show up, tap some pride, damn it.
This is why I don't watch the NBA All Star game because of bums like this.
Have some pride, damn it. So I was chastised for saying, I can't believe you guys let me get this team. I'm going to fucking whoop that ass. There's no way to prove that. There's no way to prove that. Well, we just proved it. 128. Eat my shorts. I'm the GOAT.
Yeah. I guess next year I won't pick prima donnas who are concerned about playing in the All-Star game.
Doc, I can't believe like you get paid. The best part is we'll end it on this. Is like NBA players. People are saying they should pay the NBA players to play the All Star game. The All Stars get each one of these players is like $30 million. They're all making like $30 million minimum, like on the low end.
Yeah, they're all on max contracts. They're doing fine.
They're just fine. They've been paid. We paid them. The least they can do is show up and play a pickup basketball game.
Right.
Absolute bonkers.
Like, you don't even have to worry about getting injured. And we're going to end the show on this. USA. USA. Up 2-1 on the Canadians.
Shoot, it's still 1-1 on my screen.
Oh, I forgot. That's right. You're like 5 seconds behind me.
No, it makes me look, though. So I'm going to see the goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Off a rebound.
Let's see here.
Ooh.
Up top to the point. Throw it down. Bennington. Bad rebound.
Second bad rebound.
Is that another Kachuk? Is that what I saw?
No, it was Brennison?
Oh,
is that a
Sanderson?
Sanderson. I didn't see like his jersey was folded, so
Yeah.
I could only see the end, and I was just guessing names.
I knew it started with an S, though.
All right. Thanks for joining us again. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Podcast Room303. Follow our sister pod, Revenge of the Pod, on all things socials and wherever you get your podcasts. For myself, Jermaine Colon Mendez. For my co-host, and as always, we have with us the executive producers and the Nutty Putty. We'll see you next time when you come on down and step into the room.